Let's look back on a bit of history and see what typical backup and recovery environments used to look like and how it evolved over time to address ever-changing customer requirements. Pretty much every environment used to be tape-based. These environments have their advantages and their disadvantages. Tape-based environments have issues with lifecycle management of your active tape set. Also, as tape evolves and you deploy a new generation of tape technology, your long-term retention tapes have to be recycled into new environments to keep them current and recoverable for long-term retention requirements. There are also tape handling issues. Back in the day, every tape mount was physical. Yes, they went to libraries, but you still had manual intervention for ejecting tapes from libraries and sending them off to site locations such as Iron Mountain. Speed was also an issue. Tape drives were initially slow. As the technology improved, they did get much faster. This, however, presented new problems, such as the inability to stream a drive at full speed when doing a single backup. So, backup evolved and would multiplex multiple backups to a single drive, which then made recovery much more complex. The next real step on the journey was to introduce virtual tape libraries, or VTL, devices that look like a bunch of tapes in effect but stored the data on a disk. It overcame many of the issues that we had with tape. It improved restoration, meaning I don't have to go into a mount, I don't have to multiplex data streams skipping down the tape, so it made that recovery process much better. In addition, I could also stream to devices at nearline speed. They were still inflexible and proprietary. Every device was its own particular combination of hardware that behaved in its own particular way. And you still had issues of offsite. How do I get a copy of that tape to a remote site? Then we moved to magnetic tape libraries, or maglib. It's not a real tape library as such. The backup application is now stored and it is not on an individual tape, but in a self-managed tape system. We moved the tape emulation capabilities out of the application and moved them up into the backup application. It's managing all the indexes, so it knows where stuff is in the magnetic libraries, all at the application layer. The magnetic libraries can be disk-based SAN or NAS-based file systems, all hardware agnostic, but still complex environments. Easier to manage than the VTLs, but still reasonably complex, requiring multiple physical touchpoints, such as people that are involved in the management of infrastructure, network, and backup, all managing the environment for you. Hitachi has been a strategic OEM partner of Commvault for 15 plus years, including joint engineering and integration points with Hitachi Data Protection Suite, leveraging the entire Commvault software portfolio. Commvault's overreaching architecture today is to have a CommCell. A CommCell has media agents, which are the components that are doing the backup work, and they are storing the data in magnetic libraries. There are also deep duplication engines in there, which minimize the amount of data storage that we use on the disk. There are also content indexing engines available to enhance the search capabilities in the environment. The direction forward is the Hyperscale Environment, which merges everything together. A hyper-converged platform does all of the work of the media agents, the maglibs, the dedupe engines, and the content indexes all in one defined architecture stack. It's an engineered solution, so all of the OS licenses and patch levels, everything is maintained as a bundle and ships as a single service pack. This keeps the environment running, up to date, and matched releases, which maintains its certification and readiness. It essentially looks as a backup pool for the environment. So rather than being a maglib, you can write to hyperscale devices, and it's managing all the underlying distribution of the data across that environment. You can scale it for both capacity and horsepower, with additional nodes and more storage in the environment. It's not all or nothing. It sits under the CommServe in the Commvault environment and can coexist with the existing environment while you're transitioning. Hitachi sees this as a repository for short-term retention, which is where you're going to do the bulk of your recoveries from. The long-term retention for data that you are keeping but aren't expecting to access, like data for regulatory requirements, is pushed out to a more cost-effective storage tier on the Hitachi content platform. For even more cost-effective storage, HCP on-premise can further migrate data out to any S3 public cloud environment and keep control of that data for compliance and governance purposes. As the market and technology evolve, Hitachi and Commvault's Hyperscale solution gives you the ultimate flexibility for your future data backup requirements.